at 10, the Quincy City Council tabled a resolution tonight addressing health insurance plans for the balance of this calendar year.
They're looking to enter into a contract with American Public Life Insurance Company. So this comes after a 2-hour special meeting last week with the city's insurance consultant, where they talked about city employee health coverage issues. With the resolution on the agenda, 4th Ward Alderman Michael Farha proposed a substitute motion to end the current relationship with Coalition.
The police were right last week when they raised this issue. It's time to end his relationship. In the intervening time period, our own employee, who is an attorney, can pick up the slack. Sherry can pick up the slack. And if we can't do it ourselves, then we aren't set up right. We have to handle some of this ourselves.
The measure was tabled indefinitely tonight. Aldermen say they would like to see a breakdown of the financials between the city of Quincy and their current contracted health insurance provider before voting on the resolution with APL.